And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
You have to give Moustache Games credit for if you've ever gone to a convention and seen them, they certainly embrace the theme of the outdoors, playing games inside of tents. And this is one of their games, Hike, Brave the Elements, Blaze the Trail. Okay, well, let's be frank, it's not nearly as exciting as all that. It's the kind of game that now that I know how to play it, I thought, well, it's okay. But folks that I've taught the game to have really enjoyed it. What it is it's almost a light, I was almost going to call it a gateway game, and perhaps it is, but it's a very light game of playing cards and trying to get rid of the cards from your hand. It has 7 suits in it, but let's take a look at how the game works, and then I'll explain a little bit more. Hike is a deck of cards, and this deck is made up of several different sorts of cards. There is actually 7 different suits in the card, and there's 10 cards of each. And if you notice, for example, this suit here, which is a bird, can then be followed by another bird, or a tree card, or a lake card. So you can see there's different suits in the game: light, bird, trail, more trails, there's bugs, there's all different ones, and each suit can be followed by 3 other suits, sometimes by the same suit, like the trail one is, can be followed by itself, and often by different suits. There's also several special cards that are in the game: Avalanche, Spring, the ever so wonderful and popular Poop, the Sun, Drought, Litter, Earthquake, Loss, etc. Now, on your turn, everyone is dealt 7 cards. On a player's turn, they simply play a card in the middle of the table. The next player has to play a card that can follow that one. So this one can be followed by bird, bugs, or trail. So it's followed by bird, and then the next person has to play one that follows that. So the next player plays another bird, and then the next player plays a tree, and the next player plays another bird. And you can see how this keeps going. And the object of the game is to never be stuck with cards, because if you can't play a card on your turn, then you are eliminated. You'll take all the rest of the cards that you have and place them in front of you. Now, special cards are great because you can play these special cards at any time. So, for example, I can play the Spring, which allows everyone to put their trees on the table for 1 point each. Or I can play the Avalanche, which makes everyone but me draw 2 cards. I can play the Sun, which means the next player has to play a light card, or else they're out. Lost reverses their direction of play. Earthquake shuffles and redeals all the cards. Now, Litter's an interesting card because you can never play it. The only way to get rid of it is hopefully through Lost, or some other way maybe that comes in a future one. Drought, everyone has to play a lake. And Poop, which we've already talked about, which makes everybody take all the flies from their hand, because all bugs are attracted by poop, and you have to put them in front of you, and those will lose points for you. So you keep going till one person gets rid of all their cards, or until everybody's out. At that person, the last person to go out, counts all the cards that are in front of the other players. So let's say there's 4 cards in front of me, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have given the winner 4 points. If you manage to get rid of all the cards in your hand, you will get a bonus of 3 points. And you can keep going until you get to a certain number of points. Now, it's possible that a few people can share the points if you both have the same number of cards at the end, when everybody goes out at the same time. But basically, let's say, for example, a 5-player game, the first person to 35 points wins. Most of the cards are pretty self-explanatory. It's simply going to be playing a card and playing the proper card on top of that. So if I play tree, and I've already gone through this, I don't need to go through again. And then the special cards and the rules explain all the special cards and details. It plays very quickly, and it can go all the way up to 8 players. Hike is one of those games where I'm just going to have to say it is a pleasant experience. And it's one that I think would have the legs to be a very popular family game. The idea of playing a card and then trying to outplay someone with a few special cards thrown in gives the game, makes it the lightest ladder climbing game in existence, probably. It's also a very mild take that game, but it's interesting. I can play the fly after you play this, and you play the trails after another trails. And so I suppose if you were good at card counting, it might help you out in the game. But for the most part, it's just going to be a light, easy style card game. It has an interesting theme. I've heard tales that they're going to be coming out with different packs that add more special cards and such to the game. And I think some people are going to get a kick out of that. So let's make no mistake here. This is a very light, easy-going game, but that is not always a bad thing. And I think there's going to be a lot of families out there who get a kick out of Hike.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.